Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Namaste morning session. Something's happening. I don't know if you can feel it, but something is happening. We're going to talk about that today, but more than talking, I hope we can feel it. We can sense a shift. There's something that is about to happen. So let's see what that is. Does that get you going? Wondering like, ooh, I wonder what it could be. One second. Let me put this up on the screen. Spotlight for everyone. There we go. Okay. So what is happening? What is this thing that I'm talking about? Well, let me begin by asking a question. Have you ever had a moment where something just clicked into place? It could just be a simple thought. It could be something enormous, like an entire experience suddenly just falls in place. And in that moment, everything makes sense. Maybe there's someone in your life that you've been friends with, just platonic friends. And suddenly, this is like a movie. This sounds like a plot of a movie. Suddenly, one day, you're just thinking about them and something clicks into place and you realize, I love that person. And everything changes from then on. Your relationship with that person is different. Your relationship with everyone else is different because you realize I'm in love. And you didn't really know that until the moment of that click. Before that, it was an idea. Maybe you thought about that person and you thought, gosh, we sure get along well. We sure are close. Wouldn't it be interesting if? But there's not much life force in an idea. An idea can shift and be gone in an instant. We all know that. In fact, most of us find, I certainly do these days, that it's hard to hold any idea in place. I can think, okay, I need to go inside and text this person. 5 seconds later, I think, what was I just thinking I should do? How many of you have had that experience? By the way, I'm going off script here. We're not doing the daily word. Just so you know, we're going to just go in a different direction. So that shift that takes place, not intellectually, because the thought, the idea of something is so fickle. Here today, gone tomorrow, here this instant, gone the next instant. What we're talking about here is when something just clicks into place, and from that moment, you are in the experience of knowing, not believing or thinking. You know it to be true. I know that I'm in love. And because I am being filled with that love now, everything is different. Suddenly I can hear the birds singing. I can see the trees and the plants in a different way. The flowers. I never noticed the flowers until something clicked inside me and I realized I was in love. Or it could be anything. It could be so many different examples, but that's a good one. Because whether we've had that experience or not, we can imagine what it's like when in an instant something clicks and everything is changed. The experience has come to me. We talk here every day, I think, about a very similar experience. The instant the realization clicks into place, not the idea, but the experience of a realization that I am one with God, that I am whole and complete. I can talk about the idea. I can read it in books. I can spout the words. but it's completely different from that instant of click. Now I know. It's a thought that goes from here to here. Now everything has changed. And many of you know what I mean experientially. Of course, then the trick becomes maintaining that realization, continuing that experience, because for most of us, the click will happen and you will know that it is what I'm saying because it will be wholly unlike anything that has come before. This is very similar to a line in A Course in Miracles when it basically asks, how will you know when you've experienced the peace of God? Because it will be wholly unlike anything that you've ever experienced before. Or as St. Paul calls it, the peace that surpasses understanding, surpasses any idea, any intellectual concept that you have of peace. It is a clicking into place of that which has always been in place. But you realize it now, you know it now. By the way, that's interesting. Something has clicked into place. It has always been in place. In other words, you don't suddenly become one with God. You have always been, and you are now and forever one with all that is. And when that click happens, it's the realization that that cannot change, not intellectually, but experientially. That's the only reason we're here. There can be no other reason, because anything else that we're doing, even studying great texts or following great teachers or doing ceremonies in the great religions of the world, those things are all great, but they're preparation for that click. Because that click transcends religion, it transcends everything. Everything. So we've all felt that click into something, but what about the click into everything when suddenly everything is there? The reason I'm talking about this is because this morning I was reading a book. A friend gave this book back to me. It has the strangest title. It's a Joel Goldsmith book, Man Was Not Born to Cry. I've always thought that was a strange title, but it is one of the most extraordinary books I've ever come across. And I just opened it up this morning. And I want to just share a few things from this book. It's tattered, and you can see the cover has been taped back into place. So this is a well-used, well-loved book. So let me just read a few things, then we'll go back and we'll hear what Teddy and Vicky have to say about it. First of all, in order to make this experience of harmony permanent and as infinite as it should and can be, you must have this realization. You must have this realization, this experience, this clicking into place. Nothing can ever replace the individual realization of the truth. Each one must and will eventually come to the experience of illumination. There is no time that has been set. There is no need or hurry. There is an eternity in which to work out the dullness and the darkness of human form. Oh, I like that. To work out the dullness and the darkness of human form, of human sense, and in which to receive illumination from those who have already attained it and are already willing to share their light with their disciples, students, or followers. Now, this is the most important part. Through meditation and pondering truth, we could add a lot of things to that. We could say through studying together, through joining as we do here, through reading whatever it is we read, from listening to whoever it is we listen to. A time comes when the click takes place within you. A definite awareness that something has happened that has never happened before. And from then on, we nurse it. We nurse that experience. Of course, we know that the best way to nurse it is to give it away. The best way to keep this experience alive within us is to see it in others, whether or not they see it in themselves. To become a blessing machine, a lightning bolt that is shining that same experience upon everyone you meet. That's the way we nurse. Once that click has taken place, that's the way we keep it going, because otherwise you're going to be like what I was this morning, and maybe you were too, where the alarm clock goes off. That's the click. And you wake up, and maybe even you turn it off, not the snooze button, but there are two buttons, right? There is the snooze button, which makes it go off again in another 10 minutes, or there's the button that actually turns it off. So let's say you turn it off, and then you think, I'm just going to lie here for a minute and just enjoy this warm feeling of having the blankets covering me. And you just lie there for a minute. And then what happens? You fall back asleep. You don't even realize you do it. There's no thought associated with that. You don't suddenly think, I'm going to fall back asleep now. But you just gently roll back into the dream. And it's the same thing with us. When that click has taken place and suddenly everything is different, nothing is the same. We look around and we see things that have always been there, but we're seeing them for the first time. Unless we choose to become the source of that, sharing that, giving that away, it's like what I just described. We just effortlessly and easily fall back into the dream. But it's time to get up. So that's how we nurture that. So let me continue reading this. There is an eternity in which to work out the dullness and darkness of human sense, and in which to receive illumination from those who have already attained it. Oh, yeah, I already read that part. Oh, I'm sorry, it's down here. You see, the other thing about when it clicks into place, you have no brain. You can't track things. This is true, by the way. This is very true. You can't track things the way you once did. And there's going to be a part of you that is going to stress about that a little bit in the beginning until you'll just learn to go with it. And when you can just relax and go with it, like, my brain's a sieve. It's a symptom of enlightenment. Some people are laughing, I'm sure, here as well. Okay. Once again, I'm going to go back to the beginning of this paragraph. Through meditating and pondering truth, a time comes when the click takes place within, a definite awareness, and something has happened that has never happened before. And from then on, we nurse it. We give it away. We share it. We retire into ourselves more and more frequently, not for long periods of time. He's talking about meditation here, but many times a day and several times a night, until we are so well established in God that there does not even seem to be a human selfhood left to take care of. We are so centered in God that there does not even seem to be a human selfhood left to care for. This other thing is caring for us. I don't have to care for myself. This other thing, by the way, he does the word thing with a capital T, I like that, is caring for us. It provides an advance for something of which we have no knowledge of needing at the present time. There is an invisible wisdom governing our life. There is an invisible love enfolding us, providing, caring, protecting, and sustaining. It is through our own dedication and consecration that we bring this about. Most of all, our dedication to consecrating whoever is right in front of us. Because whoever is right in front of you is the Christ. Whoever is right in front of you is God, the beloved. That's what is revealed to you experientially when the click takes place. You can have the concept of that. You can have the idea of that, but it is no substitute for the experience of that. So, Vicki, I have set you up perfectly.
You sure have, Brother James. You set me up. That's a great setup. Thank you so much. So I'm going to start backwards from what I wanted to say, because you read it about dedication and consecration. Because what happens, what I've experienced is once that awareness happens, that click, it's true. Nothing is the same. The thing that's not the same is, you know, that there is a force. The force, the whatever you want to call it, is taking care of everything. And there's no need to worry. There's only reason to be happy and grateful and let it and recognize it and be joyful. And I would say when that first experience ever happened, it's when that bounce and joy became natural to me, and why I have that buoyancy that everyone can have. But the other part of that is about dedication and consecration is we can live this way as a way of life simply by having whatever our days are filled with, let them be loose, because what we are called or ordained to do comes with that same click realization on a day-to-day, moment-to-moment basis. We may think we're going to go here and there, but if we stay tuned to that inner presence where that click has taken root in us, then every day is the click coming in the form of, no, I'm to go here. Oh, no, this is happening. Oh, be open to this happening. And it's inevitable that when we live, that's by living by vocation, by living by ordination, living by the click. It's really simple, but the click isn't for the big moments. Oh, I'll go get ordained here, or I'll go take this life job or marriage. It isn't the big things. The most important things are the little things. And if we choose, that's the way of consecration and dedication. And this is all I know to do, live by the click gently every day and give it space to call us into what we naturally know to do, because the click covers all of the details. That's why it's easy to be happy. The details aren't mine to cover. All I have to do is listen for the click. I was off to go swimming this morning, but I was redirected by the click to go visit someone that I was supposed to go visit. It turned out to be a very important visit because it was natural. There was no thinking in it. When we live by dedication and consecration, there's no need to do a lot of thinking. There's the need that Joel was saying, that you retire into this state many times a day. But that just means you rest a moment. You rest in awareness that, oh my gosh, my life is being given to me. Where is it given this moment? And then the click comes in. No, I'm supposed to go here. Oh, I'm supposed to do this. I'm supposed to call this one. And we do it effortlessly, not by figuring out and solving problems, but by the grace of greater joining all the time. Oh, another way to share, another way to give. And I never even think of it that way. I just think of it as the next clicking step that's put before me in my heart. It is the click is the bell in your heart. When that bell rings, just go for it. Don't worry what anybody tells you. Don't worry if it looks stupid or upside down. When that bell rings, just go for it and do it and enjoy it. Climb that ladder of joy, because it's here every day, no matter what things look like. Don't be fooled by appearances. They're shabby witnesses to the bell goes off in your heart for little things, little things. Have a cup of tea, have a glass of water, put your feet in the grass, whatever it is, go and do it. Don't miss it, because that is the greater shift right there. And it's bound to open up to that greater realization now and always. Amen.
Wow.
Love, 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 Jimmy.
I'm not sure if we're both making sense or neither one of us, but I think it depends. But because if you live in the clique, I think that's the key. If you live in the clique, this makes total sense. And all you can do is then just rejoice because, yeah, this is it. You feel it, you know it. And when you hear it expressed through someone else, like we just heard it expressed through you, wow, that's it. Thank you, Vicky, as always. Teddy, would you like to share anything around the clique?
Well, it's interesting because it happened this morning, actually. And one of the things I know for sure is when a click or the click comes, your mind is changed and the way you think about things is changed as well. And it's not in the old egoic way. Now, what's interesting is you can have a click and your mind be changed and the ego take over the mind that has been changed, which is why we're asked to, like, ask as often as possible. So, and I know this is going to be boring to many of you. So there's a conversation that's being had um, about Helen's notes. And, I was asked to publish them.
Just so people know, he's referring to Helen Schuckman and the original notes or the original scribing of A Course in Miracles. Sorry, just wanted to add that.
Oh, that's okay. That's good. So there's this big conversation going on about some of what's in the notes, and there's a lot of material that's refers to sex and sexual practices and stuff. And for the life of me, I have no idea how Helen could have thought of this stuff herself. And so this conversation has been going on, and people saying, oh, Helen at the beginning wasn't sure whether it was Jesus or not, and so blah blah this, blah blah that. And this morning I just had a moment where I didn't know what to do or think about any of it. So I went out on the deck. I said, I got to get quiet. So I was getting quiet, and what happens is when I do, is what you were saying. All of a sudden, there's just a gratitude. There's gratitude for the fact that I'm alive, that I've been given life, that I'm anything at all, even in a condition of separation in a world of space and time, means that I was created as something, whether I know what that is or not. So I just sit there getting grateful. And all of a sudden, this thought dropped into my head. And that's always the way it is. It's as if, all of a sudden I have no thought of my own. And something gets dropped in that I could never have thought of myself, but which sorts everything out. And I'm going to say this just because it's an illustration of what we're talking about. There's two things I want to. So all of a sudden, this thought dropped into my head. And it said, regarding Helen's notes, just because some of the notes taken down by Helen were not included in the formal book called A Course in Miracles, does not mean they are not from Jesus, nor does it mean they are not true. And I got it. Like that answered the question that that people have been asking, and I tried hard, to keep it to myself, but all I knew was, like you said, protect everything you value by the act of giving it away. So I had to post it all over the internet. It started a conversation with this guy who keeps on telling me those notes are not about. They weren't from Jesus at all, and he's asked, and this, that, and the other thing. And finally, it came down to, what we're talking about. And all I can tell him is, listen, when a message or understanding comes to me, it feels nothing like egoic thinking. It's like my mind opens, I have no thoughts, and something is dropped in. This is an entirely different feeling, one of joy and communion. Thinking about something, it's a different experience than it's about not thinking about something as in trying to figure it out. And that's the experience that I have. And the truth of the matter is, the more, it's like there's nothing wrong with having questions. There's nothing wrong with not knowing. And the purpose that we're given is to learn. And the way I learn is by asking of that which knows, whatever it is. At one point in time, what I was told was nobody in this world knows enough to be able to give you the answers that you need. Simply ask the guides from out of time because they have a more all encompassing understanding and they will share that with you. And the more we ask, the more is shared with us. And it's really in the experience of the sharing and the communion wherein which we are changed and our thinking is likewise changed. Um, and that's what it becomes all about. We think differently. We have a change in our mind, and it changes our mind as to how we think about things.
It's all in the sharing and the communion. I like how you said that. And that's so true. It's all in the communion, the joining, because it's really just the realization that we are forever joined, that we literally are the communion. And the experience is received the moment we stop trying to figure it out and realize that it figured us out a very, very long time ago. And we've been caught in this loop, this time loop. Figure it out, figure it out, figure it out, figure it out, figure it out. And it goes forever, and it will go forever until you say, screw this. I'm never going to figure it out. I'm never going to get this on my own. I've been trying for lifetimes. Figure it out, figure it out, figure it out. Surrender. It already figured me out. I just need to accept that and to become the source of that. And when that click takes place, the click is just really, I don't have to figure this out. It figured me out. Now I can relax in that. Thank you, Teddy. Thank you, Vicky. Wow.